Welcome to the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where finance and sports meet. It's kind of like just give me the damn ball and show me the money coming together. Enjoy this show. This episode is going by the title of If You're Gonna Cheat. It's going to be riveting, it's going to be sports, it's going to be finance. It is an opportunity to get together and record the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. It's where sports and finance collide. It's kind of like where just give me the damn ball meets show me the money. And in both cases, the crew is in the building. We do it one way and one way only, rough, rugged, and raw. A lot to discuss this week. This episode is going by the title. It's going by the title of If You're Gonna Cheat, inspired by a lot of sports stories this week. We're going to get into some things and do it how we do it. But before we do that, let's make sure we make proper introductions. From the Middle Coast. From the Middle Coast, we have the man, the myth, the legend, thou shall be intergalactically known and respected as. You know him as. When you say it, make sure you say it with some reverence in your voice, some bass, some respect. Go ahead and unmute your mic there. He is the Big Flow Show is in the building.
I didn't want any background noise to distract people from all that introduction. You know what I'm saying? So I had to keep it on mute, make sure the crickets weren't making too much chirp. Anyway, man, you know, I love it, man. This is our last show before Christmas, so we had to bring out the ugly sweaters. I think your shit more ugly than mine. Mine damn near sweet. I don't know if y'all can appreciate mine.
That is sweet.
Yeah. I mean, what is ugly about that sweater? The Chicago Fire. That's all I can think about. I don't know what the hell people think about. What a job, though. I'm gonna design an ugly ass sweater, and the worse I do, the better I did.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. That's work. Yeah. That's like weatherman type shit. You know what I'm talking about?
There's a comment in there about people's aesthetics and them not looking good, but I'm not gonna make it because some parents came together and did that too. Create something ugly, and anyway, the ugly sweater situation is one that we all love around this time of year.
How do we go from sweaters to just swinging on me?
Yeah, I figure out. Why not? What, though? Make sure they're
we're gonna put a collection together for me to get a Coogi sweater like my man Big. Do you know how mean those are? They still want big money for Coogi sweaters. It wasn't worth
I love them because the aura is what they call it now of BIG continues, never dies.
I haven't seen a Coogi sweater on the streets. I don't frequent the streets like that, but I haven't seen one, so I don't know if they're just selling you one special when you decide that you want one, and that's why they're so expensive.
There's a whole story in there about supply and demand. There's a supply and demand story in there that we won't have today, but you know
this, guys. If we do a GoFundMe, will y'all buy me a Coogi sweater? We still got time.
Let's see.
I can't
Let's hop into the show today, man. A lot of good stuff today. We are entering this era of playoffs. And when I say playoffs,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about just the NFL playoffs. Nowadays, we also have the playoffs when it comes to college football. And so these college football playoffs are absolutely getting all of our attention. It is a time where we have 12 teams that are going to compete. We at the Ball Hawk Sports Talk Show, we were griping last week as Notre Dame guys, but we'll hop in. My man DP in the building. What's up, Daryl Porter? I hate to admit to you, Big Flow show, DP was on that Boston College team that beat y'all, man. He was on that BC team. Don't say nothing.
Can you block people?
Yeah. He was on the. Hey, there was some reminder that came up about the 93
I don't want your support, man.
Yeah.
You can go on about your business. Do what you got to do, man. You're a big spoiler.
Yeah. Well, here at the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, not only have we, as the curators of the show, not only have we enjoyed being athletes, not only have we enjoyed being coaches, now we enjoy being sports dads. It's as authentic as it comes. It's where sports really goes down. And so you talk about where sports and finance collide. The sports story of Boston College upsetting Notre Dame hurt the finances. And so, but I digress. This week's show is going to be about sort of a continuation of last week's show. And the episode's title is, well, if you're going to cheat, there are sayings out there. If you're going to cheat death and all of these things. But this week, we're going to answer.
Repeat. I think you guys just said that.
You say what? If you're going to cheat,
better to cheat than to repeat. That's
better to cheat than to repeat.
I don't know who was saying.
Don't tell on yourself. Now you pass the statute of limitations.
I never cheated, but I'm just saying. Some people,
as your counsel, I think that's a great
class over again. Said it's better to cheat than to repeat. Rumor, all rumors. I don't know much about that. But
you don't know nothing about that, man.
I'm
You're busy studying, and that's the story that you told your kids, so we're going to stick to it.
I'm trying to stay on track. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries, man. But if you're going to cheat, we're going to finish that sentence. All show, we're going to finish that sentence. If you're going to cheat, ... how would you finish the sentence? And so this week, we're going to start off with the amazing game that we had last night. And it was Thursday Night Football. It was a battle, a tug of war for the NFC West. And we'll start with where you could have watched that particular game. You couldn't watch it on ESPN. You couldn't watch it on one of the networks. You had to watch it on Amazon Prime. So we are going to start with answering or finishing that particular sentence. If you're going to cheat, you better deliver. Amazon Prime, by way of an amazing NFC West game last night, the Seattle Seahawks hosted the game. They have been notorious for being quite the environment in terms of a stadium, and it was quite the game. Two young coaches, two great teams, the NFC West, the battle for really leading NFC in totality, the NFC lead was at stake last night, and they delivered. So if you're going to cheat, you better deliver. And Amazon Prime, they did deliver. And I say you're going to cheat because fans still feel a little something. They feel a certain way about the fact that the only place you can watch Thursday Night Football is on Amazon Prime. If you are in the Stone Ages and still don't have Amazon Prime, which a lot of us are, I ain't pointing at nobody. Actually, you got Prime, don't you?
I contribute to this to the blood money of Amazon Prime. It comes free. We order a lot, so Amazon Prime program, it comes free when you order the Prime. It's by default. We didn't intentionally have Amazon Prime. I have a real problem with it. Couple things. I don't know how your cable. I don't know what you do. I have like Comcast Xfinity cable free plug, and so my problem is I like to switch back and forth. So what a lot of people don't know. I'm real big into volleyball now, and my daughter has gotten me into it. So last night was the Final Four for volleyball. Texas A&M played, advanced to the final, and then Wisconsin was bested by Kentucky. Was it Kentucky?
And this is one of the few times that Nebraska hasn't made it. They were upset. I watched.
They were upset by A&M a little while ago, at least a round or so ago. I'm not real sweet with the rounds. I just know that with the finals coming up. But I was watching the game, and volleyball is so damn exciting because like you can't have a low scoring volleyball game. No such thing. You can't have, you know what I mean? Like
right.
you might watch a football
you gotta make
game.
it to a certain score. It's kind of like 21.
You got to get to a certain score.
Yeah.
Every time they serve, they score, and every time they score, it's a 2-point swing. So everything you like about sports, high scoring, momentum, and all different things, volleyball gives it to you all the time. There's violence. You know, they spike the ball hard. Violence, you get to see that.
You getting extreme now. That's not violence. But go ahead.
You know,
violence,
like a dunk. You know, like you want to see somebody dunk the ball is violent. They spike the ball. That's real nice.
Boy, you get real volleyball dad. I like how you did that.
Let me give them their flowers. There's heroics because the girls will dive and scoop the ball up. So there's heroics there. There's acts of it's a great sport. If you watch volleyball and you understand it, it's a fantastic spectator sport, and you don't have to care who wins the game to appreciate it. I'm telling you, give it a try. So what I hate is the way the cable works is they've integrated the Netflix, the Primes, Apple TV. It's all integrated. They did like a low-level integration. You can get to it from the plug. But what happens is when you try to switch back and forth, the TV has to do the whole login BS to get you into the Prime. So I'm trying to watch the game, and I'm like, okay, there's a minute left here, and it's the last set of the volleyball, and I want to watch the last minute before overtime, and I want to go back and forth where you switch, and it's kludgy, right? First world problems, right? It's people at home don't have TVs during Christmas season. I want to sound appreciative. I know there's people out there that's not doing well, but I have a TV, so let's just go from what I got. First world problem. I can't switch back and forth, and that really gets on my nerves. The rewind doesn't work quite the same way. You can't. That's a lot of stuff you can't do. So I hate it. I wish ESPN is as cable as I'd like, as non-free as I think sports should be. You know what I mean? Most people have at least basic cable when they get ESPN. I've conceded that. I was a big fan of these sports should be on NBC, ABC, CBS, or Fox. That's the way I really feel in my heart. That's where sports should be played.
And the reason I wanted to make sure I let you say that, because you wanted to represent all the old school. Everybody that's old school, if you ever wore a butterfly collar and you ever jammed out the slick Rick, that's probably your perspective. That is probably your viewpoint, and the Big Flow Show delivered it. There's a whole generation of people that think the Amazon Prime platform is ideal for their consumption because they don't have cable. They think we're crazy for ordering cable. But I gotta say, if you're gonna cheat the old school folks like myself of the natural, more normal viewing experience, then you better deliver. And last night they did. They absolutely did from a game perspective. Seattle came back from 16 down in the fourth quarter. It was a fight for the NFC West, which is very important. There was a very controversial 2-point conversion in there that I still don't understand how they overturned that call. The 2-point conversion to tie the game was basically they reviewed it and said that the pass that was batted down was really a lateral. So when it was batted down, it was a fumble. There was a clear recovery to the fumble, and it was Seattle, so they gave them the 2 points. But I'd never seen that. It was like a smoke screen or just a now pass, and they said that technically it was going backwards. So came down to inches, literally and figuratively, and Seattle pulled it out. But I would also say, not only when it comes if you're going to cheat, you got to deliver from Amazon Prime standpoint. 2 young coaches, two very good teams. That will probably have quite the impact in these playoffs, this year's NFL playoff. But the other thing that I want to make sure that I bring up, because all too often we are quick to point out who's a bust, and we feel as a franchise, and I know this all too well. So many of these quarterbacks get labeled a bust, and we feel as a franchise that they've cheated us. Cleveland Browns, I could go down a laundry list of people that cheated us. And being in the New Jersey, New York area, I heard everybody say that Sam Darnold had cheated them, being the number 3 pick of those New York Jets. He fought and resurrected his career. He played in Carolina. Then he went to Minnesota, where he helped them get to the playoffs last year and was a Pro Bowl selection. And now this man overcame 2 interceptions last night. He has figured it out. if you're gonna cheat, you got to fight hard to recover. And in an era where so many quarterbacks have been accused of stealing money, he's stealing money. Sam Darnold has made himself whole when it comes to those detractors. I want to say shout out to him. Although he's a USC guy, and I got a thing about them USC guys, I got to pay respect to a guy that turned the narrative around by hard work. It feels good to see someone vindicate themselves and fight hard to recover his name. Shout out to Sam Darnold. I don't know if Seattle, how far they're going to go, but they are officially atop the NFC West. I'll give you a final word. Last night's Thursday night game.
Yeah, I thought it was it's the way games are supposed to be that count towards the end of the year. You know, you get down to overtime. I do like the fact that overtime, you know, they changed the rules now where immediate touchdown doesn't kill it, because I missed the beginning of it, watched the beginning of the game, but it was already a score. I had a little parlay going. Kyron Williams let me down. My Notre Dame brethren let me down. If he scored a touchdown, I'd have won big money, but that's okay. That's okay. With Kyron, we still love you. They score so many touchdowns, so it's so great. I should have put in Walker from Michigan, but I digress. No one cares about my money. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a good game. I'm partial to the people who have been labeled bust that come back. So I like Baker Mayfield. I like Donald. I do think that we are so quick, and this isn't really the main point, but
Geno Smith at one point last year in Seattle, he's kind of went back to bust status.
You know how hard it is to be a good college quarterback. You know how difficult it is, how what you have to overcome to play well enough in college that they want to pick you in the NFL, right? So when you say that these guys so quickly are a bust, I'm like, it's not a. You don't know how to use him.
They gave him 3 years in New York, and it's what I think it shows is this. What I think it shows.
That's what it shows you. It shows you that New York sucks.
Fair, and it also shows you.
It also New York last successful.
It also shows you that you got to find the right coach. Clint Kubiak is the right coach for Sam Darnold. Clint Kubiak was offensive coordinator last year in Minnesota. He has now moved on to Seattle, and Sam Darnold has been able to finish his sentence. If you're going to cheat, because they all accuse him of cheating and stealing money, because he was the number 3 pick, the number 1 pick for the New York Jets, the number 3 pick in that draft. He is finishing the sentence with he fought hard to recover, and Clint Kubiak should be the co-star when the documentary is told about Sam Darnold's ability to resuscitate his career. But go ahead.
I just take exception sometimes when we're so quick to label these super elite athletes, and the hardest position in all of sports, unless you think pitching is the hardest position in all sports, to be so quick to say, you know, they're a bust. I look at JJ McCarthy, who is relevant because that's where Sam was last year, right?
He was the fill-in while
everyone was like, man, why'd you get rid of him? JJ's terrible, and then JJ has a great game. And then JJ has a tough game. And Shedeur has a great game. He breaks rookie records, and then he plays against the Bears, and he has a bad game, and now it's back and forth. Man, we hang on these guys, and we take this thing that's the hardest position in any professional sport, physically, mentally, and how you have to work on it. And man, we're so quick to say these guys are trash. Fair. And it gets on my nerves sometimes, because sometimes we make them trash just because of the pressure, the extra pressure that we put on them.
We help them become
that's
trash.
What made them trash. But
and it's a very psychological position.
Yeah,
you got to have some real oomph when it comes to your mental fortitude. And yeah, with the pressure of the fans, absolutely. So I'll give you that.
And you look at, someone put this out here again. Don't want to get aggressive. Like, take a Shedeur Sanders, who they're trying to question. And then the Heisman Trophy winner had a pedestrian year compared to Shedeur Sanders at a year that they did
before getting injured. Yeah, Travis Hunter. Yep.
Yeah. So it is what it is. So I'm happy to see Sam Darnold.
So
I hope Sam Darnold's a good guy. I don't want to root for you and find out later that you're a jerk. But
to your point, I do think the fans, if we're gonna have this topic, the title of this show, if you're gonna cheat, as fans, we do cheat them their process. And so if you're gonna cheat, you're gonna negatively impact that young player. So I would agree with you there. Sam Darnold, though, shout out to you, man, for being steadfast in your belief in yourself and continue to work. And let's say it, getting lucky, man. Clint Kubiak was your lucky charm, my brother. But he found the coach
Everybody
that
like
found
Lucky Charms,
talent in him. So
marshmallows.
We also gonna finish this particular statement. All right. If you're gonna cheat, don't lie if you're caught. And back to this playoff committee. If you're gonna cheat, right? Once you get caught, you need to be honorable enough to own it. And the reason I say that, you cannot die with the lie. The reason that song, it wasn't me, was so entertaining is because we all like wanted to just tell said singer, sometimes you gotta admit, the admission gets you in, at least put you in an honorable status.
Spoken like a true liar. But go ahead. What did you say?
I'm a lawyer, not a liar. Anyway,
spoken like a man who's been on the wrong side of a lie.
I'm not.
You just gotta admit it. Every time I've been caught, I admit it.
You admit it, and you move on. I shall not confirm or deny. But when it comes to this playoff committee, what they had said was, you know, whenever you start off the sentence that way, what had happened was what they had said.
You start off like this.
Simple as something.
Wet the lips.
Wet the lips.
Okay.
The committee told us in the last 2 weeks, as their decisions were being rendered, the fans, as an extension of regurgitating this lie that the committee told us, they told us that head-to-head matters. And I posted on my Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it this week, that not one, but 2 of the first round matchups are indeed rematches. 2. One of said rematches ended in a 45-10 diabolical whooping. And yet there's a rematch. The other rematch that we have is on the heels of a loss in November. But for the last 2-3 weeks, all I've heard, and Miami fans, y'all guilty by association. I told you I'm done fighting with y'all. We shouldn't be fighting each other. Both teams should be in the playoffs. This is about the playoff committee. But all they said, head-to-head matters. Head-to-head matters. Head-to-head matters. Head-to-head matters. Head-to-head matters. Head-to-head matters. It almost became a song. We was going to throw it in the Christmas song rotation. Head-to-head matters. But yet you've got not 1 but 2 rematches. How can head-to-head matter so much when we're talking about Notre Dame and Miami, and yet you have not 1 but 2 rematches, which means that those 2 teams at one point this same season played head-to-head. Again, man.
He's got a point, America. He's got a point.
You've been exposed. And so what I think the playoff committee has done is they have rendered themselves meaningless. They rendered themselves, at a minimum, dishonest. I don't want to say they flat out cheated, but since the show has the word cheat in there, if you're going to cheat, just be honest when you're caught, because you've now set up 2 rematches. So I just need you to tell me it was something personal about Notre Dame. I need you to tell me that this was more of a battle against business models. This was a philosophical battle. If we allow you to continue in your independent ways and thrive in said business model, it might be a threat to our business model that suggests that conferences are the end-all be-all. Ignore the fact that we've seen complete conference realignment over the last several years, such that you've got USC traveling to the Midwest and call themselves a Big Ten team. And you've got teams traveling from Oregon to the ACC team. Look, man, if you're going to cheat, just be honorable enough to tell me when you get caught.
I think they're exercising that was different clause. That was different. That was different.
Head-to-head matters. That's different.
This is the time where if you were their counsel, you would say, shut up. Don't get in front of anybody's camera. Let these games play out. Notre Dame fans mad, but I'm going to watch. I'm over here mad.
You going to watch all of them?
All of them. I'm mad tonight. I got plans at camp. This is the one I want to watch the most, probably. Because I'll be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like, Let me go and put this out here. Let me put this out there. Michelle Steele, one of our very valued, loyal listeners. She called me out, started being a hater. But I realized over the years I'm a hater. That's who I am.
See, you just if you're gonna cheat, or in this case, you're gonna be a hater, just don't lie when you caught.
Sometimes it just brings it out of you. It's the bitterness. It's the birthday candles on the cake. I got too many of them. I'm a hater. So I would love to see Alabama, and I would love to see Miami get pistol whipped. I want to see Miami get pistol whipped. Let them know that they had no business. I want to see Bama get embarrassed to the point where people need to start saying the stuff that they said when it was a 14 playoffs, questioning, are we going to continue to let teams like this in because of the past success that they, you know what I'm saying? The same type of bullshit they were saying about Notre Dame. Are we going to continue to allow teams like this in the playoffs when they've shown us before? Because did Oklahoma beat Alabama?
In the regular season. That's one of the rematches. In November. They beat them in November. It was a 2-point game. It was a very good game. So
I'd like to see pistol whipping. I'd like to show you that their decline from their close win over Auburn, who's at home right now. They chose to be at home, but they only got in because of they were only getting in because of some weird clause, but they chose to be at home right now. They didn't get any flack like we did, but whatever, who cares? And then the fact that they got destroyed by whatever, and then when they get whooped tonight, they're going to say nobody cared. They're going to say everybody checked out. Because why? Because they weren't some Alabama lie they're going to bring up.
It's going to be led by Paul Feinbaum, and he's going to tell us a lie, and we're going to repeat it, and then it seems as though every year we just do it again. But since you brought it up, let's go ahead and go through the matchups. Because they didn't cheated us now. It's over. That part of it, I agree with you. It's no reason to keep on keeping on when it comes to being upset about this. Let's go through the matchups. You've got tonight's game. Alabama is going to them Sooner World, and you have OU is a 1.5-point favorite. So even Vegas likes Alabama here. Because you're on the road and it's only a 1.5-point spread. So Vegas thinks that Alabama's going to do something right just based on that. Give me your prediction. And we're going to ask everybody who was watching in the live audience, please give us your predictions. You got Alabama going to OU. Who you got?
I'm going to go OU by about 7.
OU by 7.
I want it to be more, but I'm being honest, by 7.
Every time I root against Alabama, they win. So I'm gonna predict Alabama and then cross my fingers and cross my toes and really hope that they lose. I say that Alabama wins by a field goal, and I'm praying that they don't. But something is in the water when Vegas only gives them 1.5. So it is what it is.
That Bama bias, that's the same shit got them in there.
Very SEC bias, yes.
They're both at SEC now. It's still hard to.
Really? OU is an SEC now, but the conferences matter and loyalty matters. I'm so mad that I've been lied to, man. Don't. Anyway, so we'll go to the next game. You got the noon game tomorrow. Is the one that features both teams that are, what people have said, responsible for Notre Dame not making it. You got Miami traveling to A&M and playing in front of the 12th man. Alabama and OU, you said you went OU. So you went with the home team. Who you going with here? Miami going to Texas A&M.
A&M by 14.
Are you saying that with your heart or your head?
My chest.
You saying with your chest? You got your chest poked out? This is one that I can't even pretend.
I've been lifting, so as I was saying, there was some strips behind it. I've been lifting weights. Let's go. Look,
today's show is if you're gonna cheat, and then ... So I'll answer it about me as well. I'll finish this. If you're gonna cheat, you gotta be honest. And I have to honestly say that I grew up a University of Miami fan. I have to honestly say that in 2001, 2002, whenever Miami got robbed with the Ohio State falsified pass interference, I was heartbroken. despite the fact I'd already gone to and
This is
graduated.
not your granddaddy's you, though. This is don't compare this you to that you. That was
appreciate it. I'm going to Texas A&M by 20 then. Thank you, man.
That was a different you back then.
Hey, I just wanted to be true to the people that I call friends and family.
That's back when they weren't graduating. It's different, man.
It's different.
Everything's different. Yeah, it's a different you now.
It's Mario's
Coral Gables right now.
Hey, well, I'll say this because I know a lot of my family and friends, your emotions are tied to this game, and you want the U to be back. I can't lie to you. I don't think they're back. I think Texas A&M wins convincingly, and I think Miami then has to reboot because the borrowed quarterback model is one that does not have longevity.
They're about to borrow again, I heard too.
And I heard they're gonna borrow handsomely. They're gonna pay big ransom for a quarterback.
I could throw that thing a little bit. I'm left-handed, but I could throw that thing a little bit.
Hey, well, hey, why not, man?
I got 1 year left of eligibility.
Hey, you got your boy playing for the Colts. Why not you? Right? If they can get Rivers out of retirement, why not you?
Why not? A few years older than Rivers, not even that many years older.
The second game tomorrow will be Tulane at Ole Miss. The second of the two rematches, which you stankin' breath committee telling me head matters. Head matters. Head matters.
I was wondering what Tulane played Ole Miss?
Well, Ole Miss was playing football. Tulane was watching Ole Miss play football. That's the one that ended in a 45-10 result. And yet Tulane gets another opportunity to go get whooped. Tulane goes on the road. It is I'm sorry, I didn't give the spread. A&M is favored by 3 in the noon game.
Yeah.
But again, Vegas knows something and must feel really strongly about Miami.
Ole Miss is favored by 17, I think.
It is a 17.5-point favorite to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is playing without their head coach for this season, Lane Kiffin, but they did get a lot of their offensive coaches back.
And the D coordinator took over, right?
And I think the D coordinator, yep.
So we have some continuity there. Nobody's going to hopefully leave in the portal because they have a chance to win it. I still think.
I think someone would. They probably. That's the interesting part about Ole Miss. If somebody plans to follow Lane Kiffin to LSU, this might be their only game. And then they got to make an executive business decision. But anyway, who do you think wins that game?
The problem is you're going to go to LSU. You don't know if you're going to be ready in a year. This is your only chance. If they win this game, which they're going to win, and then they had to play they play IU or Georgia.
I can't think of the bracket, but they would be one step closer if they win.
I think they play Georgia. So, yeah, I think they play Georgia next game. I don't know if our research team can look that up, but I believe it's Georgia. So they're gonna want to see Georgia in that game, and then I don't know. You got to give it a shot. Taking away the fact that my butt still hurts over the Notre Dame thing, this is a real good playoff setup. There's so many people could win this thing. There's so many people could win this game. It's a shame because we could have won it, but
but there are two teams in there that no one thinks could win, and I'll throw the third in there and say Alabama.
There's always going to be two teams out there that people
not if you're saying that if this year, and we not to rehash this, but to rehash it. Not if you're saying that JMU or Tulane is replaced by Notre Dame. Not if you're saying that JMU or Tulane is replaced by Texas. Then you literally have 12 teams in there because it fights come down to style, and no matter what style Ole Miss plays, you're never going to pick Tulane to beat Ole Miss, especially after this rematch tells us that in the first fight, on the cards they lost all 12 rounds. It was 45-10. There's no style that Tulane is going to present tonight that makes you, or tomorrow, that make you think that Tulane can win. Anyway, who's your pick? Tulane. Going on the road to Ole Miss.
Pistol whipping by Ole Miss. Pistol whipping, but I don't.
You think they cover 17.5? You think they cover?
So I did bet a parlay, and I didn't bet them to cover, but I bet the over was 56 points. So I bet the over 56 or 46. I can't remember what it was. I bet the over, and then I bet them just to win in my parlay, which was weak. It didn't give me much to it, but the cover, I get nervous with the head coach loss. They could either play great or they could fall apart. But I think, but then Tulane just all of a sudden they're like, look, man, we played you before. You guys embarrassed us. We're not gonna allow you to embarrass me again, so we can go out there. But I still think cover is probably safe. I didn't want to rule my parlay though. So
Got it. And it really interesting in terms of the coaching dynamic there as well, Tulane, but different outcome in terms of their coach being welcomed to coach his team. Last game for tomorrow is a 7:30 p.m. Game. You got JMU, again, a coach that is just there to finish the job. JMU going to Oregon, 7:30 p.m. game. This spread is the largest spread, which is interesting why they made this a 7:30 p.m. game. And it also shows, back to my point, with Paul Feinbaum lying last week through his teeth, or not lying, but misrepresenting and being creative with the stats. That noon slot is a big slot, and Fox was the smartest one, right? So it's everyone's captivated. You haven't.
I guess I would say when it comes to the Oregon JMU game, if you have that Christmas party you were invited to, go. I would go. I would say
you ain't missing nothing. Oregon covers 20.5.
Yeah,
20.5.
Go ahead.
Oregon covers
because Oregon is mean with that gas pedal. When it starts to get bad, it's mean. They got a lot of people to keep happy, man. They're mean with the gas pedal. When they could. There's some teams that like when they can beat a team, they're
gonna beat your brakes. They're gonna beat your brakes.
They're gonna beat the brakes.
I think they cover too. I'm gonna go with you on that one. On the previous one, I also think that Tulane gets whooped, and I think Ole Miss covers. So those are our predictions. Committee, you got it wrong. I just hope that you fess up and you own up to it. We're gonna see whether or not the large spreads are covered. We're going to see whether or not having JMU in a primetime slot on Saturday night, what it does for viewership. We're going to see that. Those numbers will be in. But we also get to see, because if you're going to lie, don't lie if you're caught. We're also seeing right now, not only when it comes to committee, you remember how everyone took issue when Notre Dame announced once they were snubbed that they were not going to be playing in a bowl game? You remember how people took issue and said Notre Dame is selfish, they're spoiled, they're entitled, they took their ball and went home? Remember how the fans started saying that is unfair to the players because they want to play in another game? Well, there has been a laundry list of opt-outs. There have been so many players that haven't played. In fact, right, the USF quarterback doesn't play, they go and lose to Old Dominion. The UTSA coach says that he is expecting between 10 and 20 players to opt out. He has cited injury, NIL, and the transfer portal. You've got Josh Hoover from TCU, who has decided not to play in the Alamo Bowl. That used to be one of the biggest games. It was the one right outside the January 1 games, but it was a big game. The Alamo Bowl, historically, from a bowl standpoint, has prestige. Well, he decided not to play because he's moving on. What we have to come to terms with is the new reality and the components of this new business of college football, with the transfer portal, with name, image, and likeness, and as a cousin to name, image, and likeness, the rev share that the schools are able to pay. In some cases, it doesn't make sense. Notre Dame didn't play in the Pop-Tart Bowl because it didn't make sense. Both running backs, Jarian Price and Jeremiah Love, have both already declared for the NFL. And while I'm not their representative, and we ain't related, I think it would have been career suicide to play in a Pop-Tart Bowl when indeed your plan was to be moving forward and playing in the NFL. That is what it is, man. That's just the new reality of it. And the committee and college football have to come to terms with each one of those players out there. They're not just a kid from South Florida anymore. Mm-hmm. It's an investment that an institution has paid millions of dollars to represent that investment. And so there's a risk-reward component to playing in these bowl games. And so the question is posed, has the playoff system with those 12 teams essentially ended the old school bowl season? I don't think so, but we've got to accept that it's going to be forever
impact
different. It's going to be different. It's going to be different.
I think, okay, so the upper echelon bowls that you have out there are going to get worse. Like, so, everyone's thinking the fact that they even named the first two out and they had BYU and Notre Dame, and they thought that could make that some great bowl game. Shame on you for thinking that BYU and Notre Dame players care enough about your rating for that. They're going to get out of it, right? That part of it, that little group right there is going to die in certain regards. Some people will play, some people won't play. But I think we can refocus the way we look at this thing. So the UTSA guy, instead of getting on there and complaining, I think what he could have done was frame the game differently. So what he should have said, if it was me, I know he's mad. I'm not mad. So he's got the benefit of I have the benefit of not giving a shit. But like what he should have done was he should have got on there and said, hey, listen, I'm down 20 guys. It's going to be a different game probably than what you're expecting. We're going to get a good idea of who we have for next year. You're going to see some young guys that haven't had a chance to play yet. We're going to put them out there. We're going to see what we have for next year. We're going to know what we have. It's a different idea, different framework. And I think if I'm a fan of the program, I'm saying, you know what? I want to see what you have for next year. Who do you have? It gives you an opportunity to know, do I have to go get in the portal? Who's ready to play? Somebody might bust out. I remember a couple of years back, USC played a dude in the bowl game, a young running back in the bowl game. I was like, damn, if I was a USC fan, I'd be excited about him. I don't know who the hell this dude is, but he came out. But you could frame it that way and have attitude. Or you could say, we're going to be a shell of ourselves, which said to the kids that are coming to this game, fuck you. We have no faith in you. This is trash. It's a horrible message that you're sending to the team. All you have to do is switch the words. All you got to do is frame and delivery. And just say, listen, this isn't going to be the team that you saw all season. A lot of those guys have played their way into better situations, and they're going to try to go play. Quit whining. Own it and go for it, because it is what it is. Those guys aren't playing. Hey, we got a lot of guys had a great year. Guys came to this school, and we showcased them, and they have a great opportunity to go somewhere further. What does that do? Now, that helps recruiting now, right? They came here, they balled out, and now they're going to go get paid. Because that's what you're trying to do as a coach. If your ass could have got a job, if Michigan calls you tomorrow, you're gone. So let's stop trying to vilify these young guys. Let's stop trying to vilify it, and let's spin this shit into something that's going to make people excited.
What you did there. I like what you did there. And look, that's what in this episode of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, going by the title is, if you're going to cheat, truth be told that there are a lot of cheaters that when confronted by their significant other, they'll change the tune. Oh, I cheated because they could put the blame back on. I like what you did there.
Hey, baby, I'm trying to put a little spice to our relationship.
I like what you did there.
I'm just trying to get somebody to do your stone work. I just went and found somebody to do stuff. Okay, that goes too far. But anyway,
I like what you did there. But here's true.
Own it and spin it the right way, and people are gonna say, I'd like to see. If I'm a UTSB fan, if I forgot that right,
UTSA. You mispronounced the doggone team name. UTSA, San Antonio.
UTSA. I was just talking about this other UT Pyramid Basement. I'm multitasking, trying to be a dad. But anyway, at the end of the day, if I'm a UTSA fan, I'm sure that there are those out there. I've seen a shirt here and there. And I want to know this game. Why am I watching this game and I'm not puffy lipped? I'm going to find out what we have next year. If I'm a UTSA recruit and I don't want to get judged if the team loses, I want to know that there's 20 people on our team right now that are being courted to get paid somewhere else. So if you're thinking about coming to school here, know that you have a chance to go somewhere else. 20 people that came out there and did this. So we may not look good. It may not be with the outcome that's your thing, but you're going to get an idea. You can spin that thing and have such a different attitude and stop people like me and you criticizing you for saying that, man, you'd be gone in a second too if they told you.
Well, the analogy that you gave that was based on a few years ago, the running back from USC went out there and put up big numbers. The challenge with that, when you fast forward to 2025 Big Flow Show, is if said running back goes out there for UTSA and puts on a show, said running back is in the portal in a few days. And that's where we are. That's the reality of this. So when I finish this sentence, if you're going to cheat, College Football Playoff Committee, expect others to cheat too. Yes, Notre Dame cheated you of the viewership to go watch a Notre Dame bowl game. Yes, NFL-bound players cheated you of the experience that fans would have had by watching them one more time. But that's what this is. It's a risk-reward analysis. And because there are big bucks that are being poured into this thing called college football, the cheating is not going to just stop with you. The opt-outs might have cheated a lot of fan bases. It might have cheated a lot of teams. It might have cheated the networks. But truth be told, there's too much money in this to not cheat. This is what this is. The committee cheated Notre Dame because they needed the AC.
The worst episode of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk Show.
And these are
just cheating justifications that were.
These are high level. These are all fictional analogies.
These things are not real life. This is all fictional shit.
No one was harmed in the recording of this show. No one was harmed. But listen, the truth to be told is that the committee cheated Notre Dame because they needed the ACC to be represented. They needed this myth in this whimsical holiday spirit. They needed this myth that a Group 5 team could actually beat a program like Oregon that got more money than they can print because they're out there basically funding Nike's. They're Nike's. they wash the money for Nike. It's a front for Nike.
Who got pistol whipped after talking that garbage? Was that Oklahoma State? Somebody was whining about the how much Oregon got paid.
They got whooped to sleep.
Got put in a headlock.
But I think it was Oregon State. I don't remember who. But my point is this: is that like we got to stop playing around. The committee did what it needed to do because the networks needed because of their media deals with those with that conference ACC and the Big Bad Wolf SEC. It only further funneled money into those relationships. And so if you're going to cheat, don't be shocked when others cheat too.
Ultimately, and I know this is going to put my chin out there because I whined about the Notre Dame thing, but if you take away that one example of me whining, I think we need to get to a place right now where we need to just embrace the change. You know, Rick Neuheisel has a great podcast, and one of my friends keeps sending me clips from it, and I've never listened to it. But, you know, he was talking about how, you know, how much money people are spending above and beyond the 20 million that are supposed to be for the whole program, and how it's a joke that they're trying to act like the NIL is dead. People keep saying it, but it's not. People are going to keep paying and do whatever. Embrace and change, man. That's what you embrace and change. It's not. You're not going to whine it away.
It's a lot of change, though, Flo. Because
what I'm saying is you're not going to whine it away. Everyone in the media is already mad enough. Like, stop ruining the brand of college football as these coaches. First of all, you're all full of crap, and I'm trying to cuss less, but you're full of crap because you guys have always been leaving. So we've been seeing that forever. We can do whatever we can. We're not going to stop it. You guys leave right before bowl game. Lane Kiffin leaves before our playoff run. I mean, how do you do that? But at the same time, you know, you get the DB from Ohio State that has every reason to believe he can win another national championship, and he opts out. People are going to do that. Embrace the change, and you stand in front of it and be better. The brand of college football is under attack. This is the best position we've had football in my lifetime. These playoffs that are going on. Last year was the best football playoff postseason in my lifetime by 1,000. It's not even close. All the teams that people had to play, all the matchups, multiple bowl games to get to the championship. That I would say most people 2 or 3 weeks before the end of the season never would have predicted that Notre Dame and Ohio State would be playing for a championship, and then that's whatever. That's true playoffs, which we really haven't had it like that before because it's been so obvious the last few years before the NIL came around who was going to win. Maybe you thought one other team could play, but it's always was so obvious the top two teams. Now it's not like that. This is the best football has ever been. And so, yeah, there's some ugliness. Yeah, people are opting out. Yeah, they're doing it. Let's stop focusing on that as a coach in this, as someone who's an AD or all this. Stop being the ones who are perpetuating that. Let the fans do it or whatever. But when you're up there whining and you're up there crying and everything's, you're not going to make change anyway. Stop it. We're already where we are. We're not going to stop paying players. People aren't going to stop transfer. They change the transfer portal every year, and then they don't like that, and then they change it again, and then they don't like that. Every year my son's been in college, they've changed the transfer window. Every single year. They've changed the rules for transfer. Every single year, sometimes twice in a year. And so it's just not worth complaining. Embrace and change. And then you win.
we all resist change. So I take your point. And you talked about coaches. If they would get the Michigan job, they'd be out. The interim coach at Ole Miss.
And if they would get your player. If they could get your player, they'd be out. UTSA, if I can get your player, I would want him not to play in the bowl game, so he'll be healthy for me next year. So stop.
Well, the interim head coach at Ole Miss also pointed out in terms of the challenges in even getting through the players. And he used as an example, essentially like, those are my neighbors now. Some of our players live in the gated community next to the country club that used to be reserved for just the assistant coaches. They're my neighbors now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's leading me to this other phenomenon is it has become free agency. The Ole Miss quarterback is slated to get $74 million essentially when they start looking at what or his value.
$74 million.
He's not going to make it, but what they're saying is essentially like, it has become free agency. Mm-hmm. And so there's a very creative, formulaic description of what he's talking about, but it's become free agency. And I think that's the new reality that some of these coaches, some of these schools just don't want to face. And it's one that as a dinosaur that got paid to just go out there and wear a number and got lied to and was told that the value of my education, paying for room and board, was enough. I don't know. The 74 million, sorry. I used the 74 million because I wanted to use that as that's the amount of money. Because they are hosting this game in Oxford, they're saying that the economic impact will be $74 million in Oxford because they're hosting this game. In these playoffs, the school gets $74 million richer. And so what I'm trying to say is
the city of Oxford, the greatest. I mean, it can't be the schools. Whatever. I know what your point is. Sorry.
Yeah, well, Ole Miss football is projected to generate $74 million. So the economic impact analysis is normally the city. You're right. But they're saying that Ole Miss is projected to make $74 million. Where that is coming from, I don't know. But it's projected
even if
to
it's
make
wrong by half. We're still talking about
an institution that's getting a windfall of cash because young student athletes are going out there playing a game. And that has happened generation after generation to generation. You are looking on the screen for those who are in our live audience, or you are listening to two voices for those who are listening to the audio from a podcast standpoint, to two voices and two faces that went out there and contributed to some of that windfall of cash for our respective institution. We played for the same school, but at a different time. And we got a compliment, a pat on the back, an opportunity to get a degree. And so if you have engaged in this cheating scandal for years, such that two victims of said cheating stand before you or come through your airways by way of our voice, they got nothing to show for it, then you got to be okay with what is now becoming free agency. So I would finish that sentence. If you're going to cheat, big business of football, multi-billion-dollar business, then you got to spread the wealth. If not, people ultimately claim their stake in it once they find their voice. And that's why this has become essentially college football free agency. Let's hop on, man, because I think those are all great games. We gave our predictions. I don't want to get stuck here. So let's move on to the NBA. Because if you're going to cheat, you got to expect others to cheat too. I know we used that one already, but it's a sound principle. If you're going to cheat, don't be shocked when someone else is cheating. And the New York Knicks, some of y'all got some. This is about sports, y'all. This is sports and finance. They got nothing to do with your personal lifestyles, man. This ain't that.
You spent a lot of Christmas cheer with that.
Look, how you spend your time and your off time ain't got nothing to do with the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. This is about sports and finance. This is all this is about. This is the overlap of sports and finance. You don't hear me saying nothing about family relationship. But if you are going to cheat, you got to expect others to cheat too. I am a proud member of the most toxic group chat known to mankind. And these brothers are a lot of my neighbors. They are professionals. I refer to them often. They are good men, but they are largely New York Knicks fans. And I remember when this internal tournament, the NBA Cup, came about, and the Lakers and LeBron James had the audacity to win the first one.
But they didn't do it last year, right?
They did it last year.
Oh, I thought they didn't do it last year.
They did it last year. Yeah, it's been the last 2 years. This is the third winner. But people laughed at the Lakers for celebrating it. They laughed at the Lakers for raising a banner. And now, while the New York Knicks have decided,
in the first round,
because of the PR, they've decided not to raise the banner. The same franchise that changed street names when they made it to the playoffs is now trying to be too good to be too good. They're saying they're not going to raise banners. But you got to expect others to cheat too. And you cheated us, not us, because I'm not a Lakers fan, but basketball fans of celebrating this NBA Cup tournament. And now you're going to get cheated too. These New York Knicks that haven't won a championship since 1973, they want everybody now to get in line and get on the bandwagon. I politely decline. And so I have been very toxic in my toxic group chat. I'm hating on the Knicks. If any of the brothers that are part of that group chat are in this live audience, just know I'm hating because y'all was hating. And I don't think the Knicks are back. I hope the Knicks ain't back. My man Nick. Yeah, I got one in here. What up, Nick? I got one in here. Orange and blue skies, boys. The New York Knicks, man. Y'all worse than Santa Claus, man. They really believe. They really believe, man. As a Miami Heat fan, I have fun in that group chat. More importantly, being in a group chat with professional brothers that are doing phenomenal things in the community and for their families is awesome. But the only back and forth we have is the New York Knicks. Do you give the Knicks credit? Is Jalen Brunson the real deal? They won the NBA Cup, or whatever this thing is called. Do they deserve the respect that they have been yearning for? Spike Lee ain't missed a game since 1970, I don't know when. You got all the stars. They keep on selling out the games at MSG. They finally have something to truly celebrate. And if you hook me up to a polygraph, I'm always on the lie detector, I'd have to admit that they got a good roster right now. Are you buying that these Knicks are real?
Based upon the NBA Cup? Is that?
I mean, you can use that as one of the factors. When you put it that way, it don't sound that strong. But you can use one of the factors. You can use
my Lakers
won
the NBA Cup. And LeBron James hoisted that thing. I thought, man, y'all better watch out. They got swept in the first round of the playoffs.
Oh, you think it's like a what's it, the Madden curse? When you win the cup, it's not a good thing.
Goal. I don't even know who won last year. I thought they got rid of it after that. I thought they got rid of it.
This is the third year. I'm embarrassed to say I don't remember who won last year, but this is the third year.
I think because those people were like, shh. I guarantee you, I know who didn't win last year.
Well, everyone assumed Oklahoma City was going to win this year because they were unbeatable, and then San Antonio wins. And let me give a shout out to Wemby, man. We talk about this generation of players not being tough, but it was discovered after the game that Wemby went out there and played the championship on the heels of his grandmother passing. So he got emotional in the press conference afterwards, and it turns out that his grandmother died before the game, and he still went out and played. So if we gonna talk about how soft these players are, we also gotta celebrate their toughness. That's a tough move. So, but we shall see, man. I don't know if this is the celebration that the Knicks think it should be, but we shall see. You get last word on it before we move on, man. Because I gotta get
the cup last year, and they were out of the playoffs in what?
First round. So you're predicting Knicks out first
throw
round.
That thing, get that rest. Throw that thing, get the rest.
Now this Knicks team look good though, bro. I gotta give it to them. They look good.
Milwaukee Bucks won it last year. Ooh, but they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, so Oklahoma City was out there trying.
Look, man, I just didn't think the fact that we didn't even know who won it last year.
I thought they got rid of it. I thought they got rid of it
But it shows the power of the media. And this week we should be celebrating Jalen Brunson. We should, because I think I call him Mighty Mouse and have some heat that I like to throw at him in said group chat. But young man is balling, bro. He's doing his thing, and he did it the right way. He fought for his spot to be a superstar, and when he got it, he has shown that he deserves to be a superstar. But we are talking about an NBA Cup that you thought was disbanded. They thought that you had just done away with it. In the same week that the Joker just broke the assist record for centers. Over the last decade, the Joker is leading in points, rebounds, and assists. And then the stat that blew my mind, and steals. But because the media cheats us, if you're going to cheat, be the cheat code. The Joker is being cheated because he's playing in Denver. Because it's not a big media market. Because the headlines are dominated by LA and New York and Boston. But he is not complaining. That man is the cheat code, bro. I did not know over the last decade he led in all four categories.
Who would have thought? When we sent that out, we talked about that yesterday. It's a shame that we didn't know that. It's a shame I never heard that. For the last decade, he reads in all four categories. We're going to have to start talking GOAT status. No one has ever done that. Jordan didn't lead in anything but points. He's never.
Don't do that.
I'm just trying to say, when we're going to have these conversations, and you know I'm a big LeBron fan, a big Jordan fan. Jordan's never led in more than one category ever.
He won MVP, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year in the same year, man.
He's never led, because we were stat thing. He has never led in more than, and tell me if I'm wrong. And other than points, he's never led nothing. LeBron is
other categories.
Huh?
Categories, you mean?
Categories.
Statistical categories. All
Statistical categories. A center is better than every guard.
Not really a center, but that's that category has changed.
That category's changed, but we still
on paper he's a center
on the thing. But you know we've changed. Large part to him is that he's helped revolutionize the change of the position. Can we give him that?
Yeah, he has.
I mean, Brook Lopez and some of those guys kind of flirted with the stuff, shooting threes. But when you think the guy in every statistical category, he's the best player in the NBA.
Let's give him his flowers, man. Shout out to the Joker.
Over the last decade, you're the best player in the NBA. It's not even close.
Yeah, it's not even close. Not if you're leading all those categories. Shout out to him, man.
Every four of them.
All four. All of them.
Only one he'll have is blocks. I bet you in blocks he's up. He's not he's a steal guy. How you got steals and you're a center? Come on, man. This is so impressive. It's so undersold. It's so impressive.
Yeah. Shout out to Joker, man. We're not going to cheat you, Joker. We're going to give you your flowers, man. But it just also shows to connect the show, because last week's show went by the title of Hail to the Victims. And one of those victims I talked about was the audience that is always at the mercy of the influential media. And the same thing is true here. We don't talk about Joker because there are not a lot of Denver games that we see until playoffs time. We don't talk about the Joker because,
especially when you probably sleep when they tip off.
Yeah, you know. But the same thing with the Greek Freak, right? The Greek Freak is putting together a crazy 10-year run, but you're playing in Milwaukee for now, and it just shows how influential big media market cities are, and how we are at the mercy of what we see by way of media. Traditional media, especially us dinosaurs that get our media from traditional sources still. So, but shout out to the Joker. We're not going to cheat you. We're going to give you your flowers. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that we talked about today and finish this sentence is, if you're going to cheat, have some principle. Now, that seems like an oxymoron, but in the streets, they used to say, honor amongst thieves. If you're going to cheat, have some principle to it. And I say that just because there is a particular story that came out this week that showed another coach getting fired. The Ohio University coach, Brian Smith is his name. He got fired for cause. And initially, when we circulated the story, the 4 calls was alleged because he was drinking on the job. He had a stash of alcohol in his office, and maybe someone caught him with liquor on his breath. I was upset about that because, as a young attorney working in a big law firm, I thought I was getting set up when I went to lunch with one of the partners, and they said, hey, they ordered a bottle of wine, and we still at work, and I'm like, I ain't falling for the okie doke. How many glasses you want? And he looked at me. I was like, hell no. My mama ain't raised no fool. I'm the only black male at this firm. You not get me with the okie doke. I just knew that there was a camera.
You trying to hand you the keys? You want to drive back to the
office? I'm not drinking nothing. And then as time went on, I realized that's just a part of the culture of being at a law firm, that you drink at lunch. So what I was thinking was 4 calls with Brian Smith. I thought was like, nah, bro, you can't fire nobody for that. Lo and behold, because the letter comes out from Ohio University.
My beer.
It ain't just because he was drinking. He had a relationship with a student on campus and admitted to said relationship. And if you have learned nothing from Sherrone Moore's situation, if you're going to cheat, have some principle.
You think that's why he got caught? Do you think after Sherrone Moore, he tried to quit her? She went with it?
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened.
It's weird. It's his cuffing season. This is cuffing season. Right. So I think maybe because it wasn't like they did that bad. I don't think they did that bad, did they?
No, they had a good season. Ohio I think they only lost 4 games. They had a good season.
They came off of winning the MAC last year, lost their coach.
They had a good season. This was his first year. This was his first year and had a good year.
So the relationship couldn't have been that long, right? He just got there.
He just got there.
Well, come on, man. Where is the thing that really drives me crazy with these coaches? And those of you,
and he is married. He is married. This is extramarital affair.
Yeah, extramarital. Even if it wasn't, right? Even if it wasn't, that makes it worse. But even if it wasn't, you guys have to understand when you play college sports, the coaches are coaching you on football and all that, but they're trying to talk about, I'm going to make your son into a man. Right decisions, and you got to do this, and you get punished, and they suspend you if you miss a meeting, you're late or something, or your grades are bad. It's all about making accountability decisions.
Yeah,
it's that's why it's worse when the priest mess with the little kid. That's why it's worse when the cop does something illegal, because you are in the position that you're supposed to be setting the example, and you're tricking. You on campus and you bumping heads with the strong safety, like you know what I'm saying. You're in the same DMs, you bumping heads with him. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? You can't go to campus and do that. Come on. Maybe Sherrone need a roommate. You think him and Sherrone went to high school together or something?
They took a page from the same stupid book, and they didn't abide by said rules. If you're going to cheat, have some principle. And I know that sounds crazy, but
stay away from the student union.
It just doesn't make sense. Right? That doesn't make sense. Same thing as Sherrone Moore. Why would you sleep with a staffer? She's on your staff. And then you promote her. And then it seems like you have
Instagram. Come on, man.
I just think that you gotta, there's gotta be some principle, honor amongst thieves. Brian Smith, Sherrone Moore, according to the Big Flow Show, had a buzzer beater for Donkey of the Year. And because Brian Smith's came a little later on the heels of Sherrone Moore, I gotta make him a cousin to that Donkey of the Year, and then we'll see. Because Jamel Hill last week in our episode of Hail to the Victims,
to be the champ. And
if you haven't,
goes after an Instagram. If he lets the DMs the Instagram model, he didn't go to jail. He didn't try to kill himself. Sherrone Moore got him. You can't. He's the GOAT.
To have a relationship with a co-ed, and one that he admitted to. So they fired him for cause, and in that letter, they say you had a relationship with a co-ed, one that you admitted to. I don't know how they have said admission captured, but that's really not smart. And,
maybe Sherrone Moore wore a wire and called him. They brought him to get some of his time reduced.
Maybe.
You never know.
You never know. But we shall see. Jamel Hill, and we talked about this last week, said she rattled off a bunch of white coaches that have had very interesting paths towards getting to where they are now, and they all got a second chance. Because these two things happened 2 weeks apart, and yes, Brian Smith did not make it worse by criminal activity breaking into the mistress or girlfriend, whatever he's calling her, house. But on that episode last week, she talked about whether or not black coaches are held to a different standard and never get the second chance or not. We can test this theory. In a few years, we'll be able to test this theory. And if you have not listened to our episode from last week, which went by and still goes by the title, Hail to the Victims, make sure you check it out. For this week's show,
I'm going to be fair on this before you get off it. He's coming from a much lower position because you've said his name twice now. I still can't remember it. From the Ohio University coach. He wasn't even making $1 million. He wasn't the coach of Michigan, which you got to believe is probably at least a top 10 job, if not a top 5 job in
from valuation standpoint, top 5.
Top 5 in sports, right? On the heels of championships and all the stuff that goes along with it, on the heels of being the first African-American coach to be a Michigan head coach right there, that you got to carry yourself a little bit more clean and sleep narrow. He did not follow up fumbling the bag with criminal activity. He did not follow up the criminal activity with further monkey behavior, albeit the lady that he texted, from what you've told me, is very attractive. When he came out of said thing, he didn't double down and he's chasing. Sharon is chasing money now. Like, he's trying to see what he can do.
Maybe. And I could care.
He's going to get a second chance for what he did.
I'm not making
Depending on how old the co-ed was, you'll have a second chance. And I would say that if I was hiring and I had those 2 resumes on my desk 5 years from now, who would I think is more of a risky hire? I'm going to still say Sharon Moore, more of a risky hire at this
Cool. And I'm not making that point one way or the other. The point I really want you guys to listen to on this one is go listen to our show. Last week's show was amazing. The point that I really want you to subscribe to is subscribing to our YouTube channel and to our podcast. This week's show is amazing. So make sure you like, comment, share, tag a friend, tag a foe, tag anyone that you know. This episode is going by the title, If You're Gonna Cheat. We're asking you not to cheat us. Share this with other people. It's the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where finance and sports collide. It's kind of like, just give me the damn ball meeting. Show me the damn money. In this episode, we've been dealing with a lot of these cheating scandals, if you will. Air quote cheating. Because not everybody is Brian Smith and Sharon Moore. But at the University of Michigan, they are still dealing with the actual cheating scandal of Sharon Moore. And the interim president came out and made, I think, a very profound statement, which included a lot of accountability. It talked about the continued investigation into Sharon Moore, but they also laid the foundation of how they would hire the next coach. There was some morality that was put into there, and it showed that as they are contemplating who to hire now, morality is a big part of it. Hence, if you're going to cheat, have some principle. People have argued that means Brian Kelly is ineligible. Anybody with any stain on them is ineligible. So we'll see. So not only for purposes of the now, when it comes, if you're going to cheat, have some principle, but understand that stain might stay on you, and you very well might not get an opportunity like Michigan if said stain remains. We're going to get home. We're going to go home with this. We're going to go home with this because I wanted to get to it in a way that respected the process. But it's tough to do that when one of the participants doesn't seem to be respecting the process. when you're going to cheat, have some principle. Simple question. Did the Heisman Committee and the voters cheat our boy Pavia? Because according to him, with his tweet where he said F the
voters.
Heisman voters, and then was seen at an event where it said F Indiana, he feels as though he was cheated. I'll give you the rundown of the Heisman votes, just so you know. The Heisman has 930 ballots collected for this 2025 Heisman race. 870 media votes, which is broken down into 145 for each of the 6 geographical regions. That's Far West, Mid-Atlantic, Midwest, Northeast, South, and Southwest. Makes up those 145 per region. Multiply that by 6. That's 870 media votes. You then have 59 votes that are from former Heisman winner. Every Heisman winner that is alive gets a vote. And then you have 1 vote that represents the public at large. You got to go into the Heisman site and make that vote. And then they collectively make that 1 vote. Of first place votes, Fernando Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner in 2025, had 643 votes, 191 second place votes. Diego Pavia, who feels as though he was cheated, only had 189 first place votes. He had 352 second place votes. Then you had Jeremiah Love with 46 first place votes, 157 second place votes. And then you had Julian Sayin, who only had 8 first place votes, 118 second place votes. Do you feel, hearing those numbers and the layout of the votes, do you feel that Pavia was cheated? And for those who are watching a live audience, please weigh in. Because Pavia said F the voters. Pavia said F Indiana. So he clearly thinks that he was cheated.
I think in general, this is the weakest Heisman Trophy race that we've had in decades. I can't think of one that was weaker than this. I think a couple things. I think it's a byproduct of the parity that's starting to come around the sports. Just like we don't have an odds-on favorite to win a national championship this year, we didn't have that odds-on, 1-2 chart race for the Heisman. The numbers that they both put up were good, but they weren't ridiculous. I was a little partial to Jeremiah Love, but his numbers weren't ridiculous by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, he had half the reps, so that's not the Heisman voters' fault. I think Pavia and Jeremiah Love both suffered from not having that big signature win game that really got the media attention to do whatever. And I think that, I think it's funny that Pavia came in second when I think that if Ohio State would have beat Indiana, I think that Sayin would probably have catapulted to number 1. You know what I mean? Just because it was the only big moment game that you can really think about this season that like everybody was watching, everyone was paying attention, and he stepped up and did something. Again, had Jeremiah Love, the way that he had his last couple of games, played against Stanford and blew them up, even though it wasn't a big game, it would have been like the last thing on his resume. But then, even though he scored, but he got hurt and he wasn't able to play. I just think Pavia is one of those things. A lot of people didn't tune in to watch Vanderbilt. A lot of people weren't really worried.
Do you think Pavia, in his response, do you think he hurt his case going forward? Because if you're going to cheat, have some principle. Truth be told, with his response, F the voters, with his response of wearing the shirt, F Indiana, he sort of violated that rule. And in a way, threw dirt on the sanctity of the trophy and questioned the process itself.
I think I think it was such a dumb decision with zero upside. Nobody respects it. Not one person looks at that and says, "Hey, yeah, Pavia, you did this," or whatever. So stupid. He's He's an undersized quarterback that people loved and they liked his grit. You know, I saw him do a podcast the other day with a black eye. Everyone likes that, right? Oh man, this guy's got a black eye. He's out there. He was that kind of a scatterboo type football player. You know what I mean? Tough and, you know, overachiever. He had a good story. He only ended up there because the coach moved over and brought him with, and people loved that. It's all gone now. Now he's Manziel without the amazing stats, and I think he's ruined himself, and he's an idiot. I think he's a complete idiot for doing it. It's unfortunate somebody didn't get to him. Twitter fingers would get you in trouble. Somebody should have got to him in his entourage. I'm sure he wasn't in New York by himself, but doing things childish, immature situation, hurt himself. I don't think he slapped the process in the face. Nobody cares. I've never seen a Heisman, ever seen a second place. Usually the guy who gets in second is the first guy to stand up and clap. I've only seen class in the Heisman. Can you think of another unclassy moment in the Heisman from a guy who lost? I can't think of one.
You normally don't hear much from him, but I mean, tweeting F the voters and wearing a shirt that says F Indiana, he inserted himself to make sure that we did focus on the second place person. But normally I'm trying to think of a close race. There have been players that are disappointed. There have been players that have been disappointed.
And you've shown some. You've seen it. Like they showed you. Like
no, I have not.
Never. The worst thing I can ever think of is Randy Moss wearing sunglasses inside. And he didn't even do anything. He clapped like everybody else. Usually people take it like a champ. Yeah. I've never seen anyone come out and be spoken about it with this. And I don't even think he was the second best player. I think he got the second best votes just because of whatever. But I mean, he's not even close. So it was just a stupid move. I've never seen anyone draw attention to themselves like that. It's a shame. Mendoza had a lot of stuff that we could be talking about.
Great interview afterwards.
I will say
what you want to say. The guys are classic.
In today's environment, today's culture, and this could be we could talk about this a lot longer. I didn't get a chance to see it, although someone sent me the link. So excuse me if somehow I'm wrong, but I understand half of his speech was given in Spanish.
Yeah, and he's the first Cuban American to win it. Pavia, whose mom is from Spain, dad is from Mexico. Would have been the first Mexican player, I think, to win it. Did not, but yeah, he gave some of his speech in Spanish, which I think was the introduction to some of what we're going to see in the Super Bowl.
I think there's some people who would probably, because he doesn't present as Hispanic when you see him, and people sometimes look at the name and think maybe it's guys from Spain or something. But for him to do that in Spanish, I know that pissed some people off, and you know me, I love that.
Especially in the state of Indiana. I ain't saying, I'm just saying.
Man, I love that it pissed people off. Then he had some real socialist views where he was saying share
it with people.
If you have a lot, you have too much, you should share and give to the other people. Oh man, I heard it. They didn't even clap when he said that. So I love.
I think that was in front of the IU boosters, but
yeah, they didn't like it.
Profound statement.
They didn't like it. Yeah, I gave you all that damn money. You handed it out to somebody who's on stamps or something. So I like him. He seems like it's interesting. I don't know where his NFL future. I haven't heard any of his draft analysis or anything like that. But again, kind of a weak class for the Heisman.
It'll be the first quarterback if he decides to go.
He would be the first quarterback. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Again, I'm disappointed that it wasn't a more dynamic player to give you some real, the best play. No one.
They might as well just make it the O'Brien or whatever the Davey award. It's a quarterback award at this point. The Travis Hunter thing was such an anomaly that it took a player to play upwards of 80% on both sides of the ball and was at times in the special team phase of the game in order for it to buck the trend and be anything other than a quarterback. It has become a quarterback award.
I would say
Pavia at 5'9" playing for Vanderbilt. I agree. I don't think he was the second best player. That's just my take on it, but it is what it is. I hate to see Pavia ruin in this episode. If you're going to cheat, truth be told, he cheated himself of the moment, and he might have cheated himself in terms of his legacy. And as a young adult, young student athlete, it doesn't matter to you much now, but it will soon. Mark Ingram fired back with a picture of him in front of his Heisman Trophy, sort of laughing it off because he's one of those 59 former Heisman winners that do get a vote. But as young adults, we make mistakes and we recover from them. We'll see. I do think that our own Mr. Carr will be the fan favorite for the Heisman next year. Only because I think Notre Dame's going to be phenomenal, and it's another quarterback. It's just interesting to see that there's a fortress built around the quarterback room, and it protects that Heisman Trophy for the most part. Wanted to get to one more thing. I'll give you final word if you had anything for Pavia and his 2 fingers within the middle region of his hand that he put up towards the Heisman process and to the voters.
Towards himself.
And to
I
himself.
think he put those on, he turned those on himself.
Yeah.
He's going to realize that pretty soon. So, hey, good luck, buddy. I hope you got eligibility left.
You call him buddy because he's short. That was a short joke. Hey, good luck, little buddy.
Good luck, little buddy. I hope you got eligibility left so you can try to play through it. But if you're done, then you're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
But I do think, man, it goes back to not to make it about them, but to make it about them. The cheating theme of this show was not only driven by Sherrone Moore's incident last week, it was driven largely by the College Football Playoff Committee. And I think some of his angst and anger came from feeling as though that the committee had cheated Vanderbilt too. Not making an excuse for him, because you got to know how to lose with dignity. But I think it was a compounding effect. Next topic in this episode of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where sports and finance collide, we got to talk about the WNBA's new CBA. The WNBA is at an impasse. The league and its union, they're at an impasse right now. There's a work stoppage that's being threatened. The league minimum is under question. Sharing in the new TV deal and the revenues there too. Sharing in the momentum and the growth of the league, and fighting for pay equity. Where do you think we are with this? I would finish this sentence: if you're going to cheat with class. There are some that argue, have some class, ladies. Y'all been in the red for a long time. Sit back, relax, and just don't ruffle any feathers. And there's others on behalf of the players would say, we've waited long enough. Players have been underpaid. We've got this momentum. The league needs to share in its newfound success. Where do you stand on this before we go home with the Ball Hawk Spotlight moment?
I think when we talk about gender equity, we get kind of caught up and we get lost in the facts. You know, I think there's some bigger pictures there. Just that was proven by the 3-on-3 league that you can make it a more profitable league.
Unrivaled, great league that did well in its inaugural season.
I think by the numbers, the increase that we saw in the women's college sports, when you called it Women's March Madness, when you actually put the shows on, you know, real networks in real times, and you kind of intersprinkled them in between the males, it did better. So I think if there's an injustice, it was the fact, and I don't even know what the motivation would be, because doesn't everyone want money? I don't feel like they've given the support to the women's sports that could make it a profitable league, which would make their demands for so much money more reasonable. You know, I'll go to women's soccer. We promote the shit out of women's soccer. And actually men's soccer, we really don't. And, you know, they've had to kind of make up for it, because I think the women's soccer probably deserves more money than the men's in the United States, right? Mm-hmm. From a standpoint there. So I'm still rooting for these ladies to make their money. I'm pro athlete. I want to go do it, but I just think realistically, we got to temper So what they're saying, I believe you said 1.3 was the maximum that you could make.
1.3 is the league max right now. They're fighting
League
for
max,
that.
and this
They're
is the
fighting
first year
for
for capital. So I think that's amazing to make up $1.3 million in on a 60.
it. It is Flo, but this is no different than the argument that we've always taken issue with. Oh, just be quiet. You're millionaires. 1.3 is good unless there's somebody worth 2. And that's
Who
what
could
this
be
is.
worth $2
That's what you're
million
fighting over, right?
in the previous league? Who could be worth $2 million when at the end of the year the NBA writes a check to make sure you don't shut the doors?
Fair, but you're comparing it. You're comparing it to a day and time where we've already acknowledged that it was unfair. The WNBA just signed a media right deal last year that amounts to a 6-fold increase in revenue. The WNBA over the last several years, and if you want to call it the Caitlin Clark effect, if you want to call it the Angel Reese effect, if you want to go Ionesco, you can go to all the names of things that have changed, signature shoes and the coverage and the viewership. The annual salary, average annual salary right now is $530,000, which is great compared to the league minimum of $66,000. I thought at one point that most of the women in the WNBA were making around the $66,000. So it's good to hear that the annual salary, they want to move it up to more than $530,000. And with the league minimum projected to be over $225,000. So the new proposal is trying to get them to what they think they should have been. And I acknowledge that it's a long ways from where they were. But where they were, I have to also acknowledge, was unfair. The current Supermax contract is just under $250,000 a year, which is crazy. The WNBA's proposal includes an uncapped revenue sharing model that would raise the maximum salaries above $1.3 million, with the ability to grow to nearly $2 million over the life of the agreement, whereas the Supermax contract is just under $250,000 a year.
Why did you say Supermax?
Say that again.
It doesn't sound like you're saying the right thing when you say 250,000 is a Supermax, but you can get 1.3 million. Isn't Supermax the highest you can get paid? Are you not saying the right word?
Supermax is the highest paid, but so let me read it again. I'm actually try to read it. The WNBA's latest proposal includes an uncapped revenue sharing model that will raise the maximum salaries above 1.3 million. But you're talking about the whole league, the whole team, though. 250,000 a year is one individual contract. We're talking about the latest proposal includes an uncapped revenue sharing model that would raise the maximum salaries above 1.3 million, with the ability to grow to nearly 2 million over the life of the agreement. That's for the team.
Okay. I thought you said that there was a players making 1.3 million was the max.
If I said that, I misstated.
Okay. And then I feel like, well, shit, that's not too bad to make $1.3 million and your team losing money. But if you're saying the Supermax is 250, I get it. Now that they're profitable, they got to tear up the past and go towards the future. You know what I mean? They got to figure it out. Even if you have to you got to pay them on the come a little bit and say, all right, well, look, we're profitable this year. We might go a little deeper because it's only growing, right? Because I do believe the WNBA.
Yeah, no, I think we are actually saying the same thing. I don't think it's for the whole team. I'm tripping because if you look at it, the
word Supermax is $250,000 a year. That throws what you said. It's
current Supermax. Current Supermax.
It's still not right. You said the current highest paid was 1.3 million, and then you said Supermax is 250. They both cannot be true.
So then I misstated the current in terms of the 1.3. They want the ability to get to 1.3. That's what they're aiming for, not for the team, for actual contract. I'm messing that up. Okay. Because that's the only way we could then say average salary more than 530,000, which I also said. So I messed that up. That's not for the team. That is for the individual. But it seems crazy because the current Supermax contract is under 250,000, and now we're saying they want to get salaries above 1.3 million. The numbers are so far off because of the 6-fold increase in the media deal that it seems unreal because that's really what we're dealing with. We're talking about going from a Toyota Prius to a Ferrari. And most people don't make that leap. You go from a Toyota Prius to a Honda Accord to, you normally level up. And I think what the WNBA is trying to do with its union is get to where they feel they should be without leveling up. And the drastic increase is what seems to be the problem for the NBA, the WNBA.
So what I disagree with is the NBA has been willing to lose money for the last, I think it's been 20 years that the WNBA has been in existence.
Yes.
And they've been willing
25.
to lose.
They celebrated 25. So
25 years. So they've been willing to lose money for 25 years and subsidize the league. I do not agree that now that they have an opportunity to no longer lose money, that you should ignore the fact that they've invested 25 years of humongous losses, right?
Which happens in businesses.
No.
Most of the top AI businesses are losing right now. You're betting on what they will make, and so you lose money for years.
I wouldn't. What my point is I've been feeding this beast for so long, and now the beast is finally paying back. Now we can argue why it hasn't been doing it, but I've been feeding it for so long. It's finally about a chance for me to recoup a couple of my dollars, and you're saying no. The revenue's up. I want my revenue, even though that's going to make you continue to lose the money. You should be cool with that. I think that's tough. I think there should be maybe if they were willing to lose 20 million a year or 20 billion. I don't know, not 20 billion, but they've been losing a lot of money every year. I think the thought that they should continue to lose at the same rate is unfair to the NBA. If they double the salaries, then I'll take. You were willing to come to work for $10. If I give you $20 or $25, then you should still continue to come to work. If I gave you $10 and now you're saying I need 90, no.
I think that's my challenge, is because when it comes to the free market, we have always consistently said we're worth what someone's willing to pay us, even if that said someone is losing money by paying us. That's what we're worth, right? That TV deal wasn't because they thought the NBA and its support of the WNBA was worth the TV deal. The TV deal was because they knew that there was a market, a new appetite for these players that have been the surge in interest for professional women's basketball. So I understand where you're coming from, but I also understand why the union and its members, the players in WNBA, would be fighting so vigorously to get what they think they deserve, because that is what it is. And we got into the weeds with what they're fighting about. There's a January 9th deadline. We'll see whether or not the league and its union come to terms. But I'm standing with the women on this one. You gotta share. You gotta share. I don't know, man. I'm standing with the women on this one, because I do think that if they continue down this path with a new CBA that is some reflection of where they were, and in their minds that was some form of pay and equity, they'll never get to what they deserve.
So this is where they have to be careful, and I think Nick is his name.
My man Nick. What up, Nick?
So Nick has a very, very good point, and this is where you have to be careful when you're the WNBA. You are just now cracking the hearts and souls of America. Just now, right? You had some diehards out there that were not spending enough money to make you profitable for 25 years. So now you are just getting into the hearts and souls of America. If you go on strike, will the WNBA be missed if you go on strike? Is anyone going to give a shit? And I said, be careful. Don't test that. Do not test that. If the WNBA folds and goes away tomorrow, there's not going to be any strikes, backlash. There's not going to be anything crazy. People will be disappointed a little bit, but only a little bit. And I say that with love for them, and I want that to work out. And I think we could be there in a few years, but you're right on the cusp of becoming mainstream. And if you start threatening stuff like strikes, and you strike when the NBA strikes, or the NFL strike or the Major League Baseball strike, it was miserable. People were miserable. People were going crazy. You know what I'm saying? They were miserable. They wanted it back so bad. They were begging, please bring us back. Come on, man. We got to have our game. COVID.
You don't think nobody going to be feeling like Pookie?
And people couldn't do sports. We got to figure something out. Go to Vegas. I don't give a shit. Put them in Vegas. Put fake fans in the stands. I don't give a damn. We got to have the WNBA. I don't know what, but the NBA. What are we going to do, man? We got to find a way to get this thing back. College football. There will be, we got to get this thing back.
There are no people out there that are susceptible to fiending like Pookie for the WNBA. There's some people, but not enough.
That will get over it tomorrow, and that's just being fair. Great question, Nick.
Let's go home with Ball Hawk Spotlight moments, man. And for these, we've already picked them out. Before we get out of here, we want to go home with the Spotlight moments. This episode, if you're gonna cheat, it was cool finishing all of those sentences. So let's keep it alive for the Ball Hawk Spotlight. Although it is a spotlight, we're gonna finish it off with these two. Mr. Marshall Faulk is yours. Yeah. So I'll tee it up with his sentence. If you're gonna cheat, be the cheat code.
Be the cheat code. Yeah, Marshall Faulk was a cheat code on that football field. Yeah, Marshall Faulk is continuing a trend that I'm gonna say that I really like. I think, he just took over the rule at Southern University. He was on Deion's staff. He's the head coach at Southern University. I think Deshaun Jackson just took over. Nope.
Last year.
I'm tripping. Deshaun Jackson took over last year. Ted Ginn Jr. just took over a UFL team, which was pretty good too, because I feel like the stepping stone had been the HBCUs. But I'm gonna stick with Marshall Faulk. I think you're taking these. We've been trying to legitimize the HBCU football for a while, mainstream it, kind of on the cusp of like we're talking with the WNBA. We're trying to mainstream it. Eddie George was at Tennessee State, and he's kind of moved up. Deion was in there. Who's the running back? Tyron Wheatley was doing it. These big name guys from our era and now more recent areas are taking over. Ed Reed, taking over programs. I think this is a great trend that I want to keep seeing happen, because these guys are bringing the friends in. They're bringing the names there. They're bringing excitement. I think Deion set the standard as far as what you could do. And I don't know that anyone's matched the standard that he's done, but I like the trend to kind of legitimize some of these programs. And I'm sure someone's going to be offended by me saying that they're being legitimized, but a lot of people are going to look up Southern University right now, and they're going to try to figure it out. A lot of people are going to try to play it. They're going to get Notre Dame gave Eddie George a crossover game, when he came over and
from Tennessee State, right?
And in the past, you've seen some different things. Northwestern played Howard University. Like, these are the things that are good for the program when you're trying to recruit. You're trying to get some money into the program. So I'm happy to see it. I hope it continues. I think for guys like Marshall Faulk, that it's been hard.
Yellow jacket, man. He got the gold jacket.
Gold jacket, but it's been still hard for. I mean, he's not coaching there because he wanted to coach University of Michigan, and they took his resume. So you're giving some of these guys an opportunity. Deion took it, and now he was in Colorado. Eddie George took it. He went to Bowling Green. I think that this is also it's a win-win. You're adding something to the program. You're giving some of these coaches a chance to start and prove themselves. We could argue all day of whether they should have to go this route or not, and maybe they should be going with some other guys, the Vrabels of the world, that get kind of right into it. But let's not. Let's just say this is a win-win on both sides. I'm happy to see it.
Even more of a win, the icing on the cake is, and that's why, in addition to being the cheat code as a coach and taking a role as a head coach at a HBCU, avoiding what we discussed last week, the Jamel Hill, and whether or not the opportunities are the same, and also giving back to his community in the sense that a gold jacket puts you in a whole league of your own, but sharing your football prowess and your football prominence and the platform that you have as a gold jacket earner with HBCU community, all good things, as you said, Big Flow Show. But he also negotiated a clause in his deal, that gives him 20% on the upside. So he has a vested interest in increasing the donations to the program. And he has a 20% vested interest in any, I was going to say sizable, but it don't even have to be sizable, any increase in the donation funds towards said HBCU. So shout out to the cheat code on the field, but also the cheat code in terms of going to HBCU and negotiating, what I think is an amazing clause. You got to remember, it's the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where sports and finance meet. Phenomenal clause that aligns the incentives of both Southern University and Marshall Falk's bank account. The one that I wanted to go home with is if you're going to cheat, spread the wealth. Penny Hardaway, the head coach of the Memphis Tigers basketball team, is on the record of charging Aaron Bradshaw, who was a phenomenal player out of Camden, New Jersey, played for that team, the team with DJ Wagner, went on to play for John Calipari the first year in Kentucky, transferred, I think, to Ohio State first, and now to Memphis. Had some troubled, checkered experiences while trying to play the highest level of college basketball, was projected to be a one-and-done kid, 7-footer. And a part of that checkered past was coming late to meetings, had violations, team violations. Coach Hardaway, Penny, is on the record for fining him multiple times, several $1,000s worth of fines. And he said, lo and behold, look who's not late to meetings anymore. Look who's not having issues on campus. And so I think the model that now has become, we talked about college football free agency. We can also say the thing with college basketball. But these college athletes with the rev share and the name, image, and likeness money are essentially free agents and will now also be participating in the model at the professional sports ranks. I remember the first time I was late to a meeting and I was literally 30 seconds late. I got that citation essentially where it shows they take it right off the top. They take your money out of your paycheck. I was so flabbergasted because I didn't have money like that. I'm hanging on, baby. It's a 53-man roster. I'm 53 and a half. I couldn't believe they had docked my pay. But that's what happens when you're late. And so I think it's not only good to make sure that—
little bit of money. Y'all want to dig in this little bit of money right here.
My little bread, man. And I was literally 30
hey,
seconds
your ass
late.
here on time.
Yeah.
Straight.
And I had all the excuses. The trainer was taking
look, I don't make that much money. I was coming from my other job. Yeah. And I was
But I think that these athletes, so kudos to Penny Hardaway for having the experience and introducing them to the new model that they will soon be a part of if indeed they make it to the professional ranks. So if you're going to cheat, spread the wealth. Good example, Penny Hardaway. This has been a phenomenal show, man. It's the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where sports and finance meet. Think of it like just give me the damn ball, crossing paths with just show me the damn money. Show me the money. We've shown you the money. We've given you the damn ball in terms of delivering on the sports topics for this week. It's the Big Flow Show coming to you from the Middle Coast. I'm your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hawk, a.k.a. the Mouth of South, a.k.a. Mr. Excessive Celebration, a.k.a. Breezy, a.k.a. Councilman Brown, a.k.a. Coach Bobby. It is the holiday season. This is the last show before Christmas. We're wishing you guys all a festive holiday. Merry Christmas. Go ahead and give the people their holiday wishes, man. Anything you want to tell the people before we get out of here, Big Flow Show?
I want to say again, we're trying to push the show to take it to the next level. You see, we make a few changes, a couple buzzwords changes in the beginning. We're trying to do some tweaks on the side. You guys can give us the comment you want. Please don't post those tweaks of suggestions, but we would really like it. This is a long show. We went almost 2 hours today. We watched the viewers count go up and down. We love the people that are in every week, but we understand not everybody can do it. But what would help us, as we're putting shorts out on the YouTube channel, I think we are getting together on not Twitter, but on TikTok. And if you guys can just forward if there's a couple of things that Bobby has said today, which is probably less likely, but something that I said that you really like, forward that off to people. You know what I mean? Just give them a little taste and say, hey, man, check this out. That'll help a lot. I know I forward stuff like that, shorts all day long to people from other people's shows, but that would really help us. Our views went from like 1,000 to 40,000 last week, from people sharing and doing different things like that. And we're trying to take the show to the next level. I don't want to start sending y'all a bill for my time, but you know, that could be happening. But again, we're trying to bring the show to the next level, and you guys are a large part. The comments and all the audience has been a large part of the show over the last few years. Just help us out. Forward the shorts out if you see it. Thank you.
And with that, this show is yours for the keeping. Share with other people. Just for the audio listeners, we end with this. Just how we began. This is the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, where sports and finance collide. It's kind of like just give me the damn ball, overlap with show me the money. Enjoy this show. Enjoy this episode. See you soon. We is out. Peace.